Hi, class. Let's go over an example of finding the inflation rate and using the inflation rate in Excel. So what we're going to do here is we're going to calculate the inflation rate between January of 2021 and January of 2022 using CPI values. Then we're going to use that inflation rate to calculate how an hourly rate of payment should change based off of inflation. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to that link here, go to that CPI values link, follow the instructions, and find your CPI values. You're going to check that first box, hit retrieve data. It'll open a table, and then you can look for the values. We are finding values for January 2021, which you should get 261,582. And then we need the value for January 2022, which you should get 281,148. Okay, practice looking those up in the table. Go to that website, follow the instructions. You should find those numbers. Now, given those CPI values, let's calculate the inflation rate. So let me copy the inflation rate formula in here so we can look at it as we work. All right, so when we use the inflation rate, we want to subtract the CPI values, and then we want to divide by the older CPI value. The parentheses are very important in the inflation rate, and the order of your subtraction is important. Okay, so the newer CPI is going to be the one that's newer in time. So our January of 2022 is our newer CPI. January of 2021 is the older CPI. So we want to start with that equal sign, open those parentheses, click on that newer CPI value, type your subtraction, click on that older CPI value, close the parentheses, type that division, click on the older CPI value, and then hit enter. This should represent a percentage. So it should come out as a decimal, and it should be less than 1. After you get it out, you want to format it as a percentage. So between January of 2021 and January of 2022, I am saying the inflation rate is 7.48% based off of those two CPI values I found. So in 1 year, those CPI values increased by 7.48%. Since it's positive, that's telling me it's an increase. If it was negative, it would be a decrease. Okay, so now let's say you were making $14 an hour at your job in January of 2021. You want to figure out how much you should be making if your hourly rate went up based off inflation. We're going to do this over 1 year and over 3 years, and then we're going to calculate the percent increase compared to the original hourly rate just to see how our money is growing. Okay, so we're going to put the $14 in this top green cell in the middle. This is the current hourly rate I put in the problem. That's our $14 an hour. We want to predict our hourly rate after 1 year and after 3 years. So my values of T are going to be 1 and 3. So for this formula, we're going to follow the budget cost projection formula, and let me get it copied over here. All right, so I've copied it below our hourly rates. This is the formula that is given to you on that major assignment 2, so we're following that same formula. The A is going to give us the future value, so that is going to be the hourly rate, our future hourly rate. The B is the currently rate, so that's our $14. R is the inflation rate. That's going to be above that 7.48%, and then the T is time. We're going to do this twice for those 2 different time values. So I'm going to start with that equal sign, click on that 14, type a star, type that parenthesis, 1 plus, click on that inflation rate percent, close the parenthesis, do my exponent key, and then click on the 1 for time, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to do this one more time, but I'm going to change that T to be the 3 instead of 1. All right, so what we are predicting here is if our rate, our $14 an hour, were to increase by 7.48%, if it were to match that inflation rate, after 1 year, we should be making $15.05 an hour. After 3 years, we should be making $17.38 an hour. So after that 1 year, our rate is going up that 7.48%. We applied that 7.48 7.48% to it one time over 1 year. So that is the percent we're increasing. So when we want to find the percent increase over the hourly rate, for that first response, we should still get that 7.48%. This formula is very similar to the inflation rate. We're going to take the newer amount minus the older amount, divide by the older amount. We're going to use the hourly rates here for this one. So I'll start with that equal sign, start with that parenthesis, just like the inflation rate. I want to grab the new hourly rate I just calculated, minus that original $14, close the parentheses, type your division, and then divide by that $14 we had originally. It will come out at a decimal, like before, formatted as a percent, and this should match the inflation rate. So after 1 year, 1505 is a 7.48% increase. Now, after 3 years, it's not going to be 7.48%. We've increased more because we've applied a 7.48% raise every year for 3 years. So after 3 years, how much has our money gone up? So again, we'll follow the same idea of a formula. Start with that equal sign, open the parentheses, click on that hourly rate after 3 years, type your minus, click on the 14. We're comparing this to the original hourly rate of 14. Close the parentheses, type your slash, click on that 14 again. We'll get out a decimal, format it to a percentage, and we get 24.16%. So this means if we were to match inflation and increase by 7.48% a year, that means after 3 years, our salary over the 3 years, the total 3 years, has gone up 24.16%. So it went up 7.48% a year for a total of 24.16% in 3 years. All right, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.